constructed and perceived, yet we are all connected. Our incapacity to perceive this imperils our existence, holds us back from higher states of consciousness. Yet these constructions are constructions. The spectral totality is also a construction, a state we strive to access in our everyday entanglement. We long to be free from the limitations of our seemingly finite humanity, yet all we seem to possess is our mundane experience. And the question still remains, what is to be done And how do we get to where we want to be? How do we thrive in spectral oneness that incorporates separation simultaneously? Can our bodies ever access this elusive state? How do we discover this day by day? Or does it only exist in the science, our imagination, and the science inspired by
Thank you so much to Connie Steensma and Richard Prins for commissioning Christina Wheeler's piece. We have Christina right here. Your piece is a Coda for the Totality of Blackness Trilogy.
Yes.
So what is the Totality of Blackness Trilogy? Do you want to?
It's a 3-part audio, visual, immersive, multi-speaker array ambisonic performance piece with audience positioning in it. And it was a response to the Black Lives Matter movement, but an artistic delving into how systemic racism, breeds fear around Blackness, and then taking it a step further and looking at where these fears come from and going a step further and going deeper, looking into where our fears are in life and what would life look like if we didn't have division, and what could be the most intimate and expansive way that we could make active choice to move through separation to intimacy. So surrender is the middle part. Emerge from the surrender to the totality of blackness is the middle part. Emerge from the totality of blackness is the first part. And the final one is called Resonate in the Totality of Blackness, and I haven't even written that yet. So when you said, okay, make a new piece, I tend to kind of work in whatever's like on my mind at the time. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe if I write this coda, maybe it'll help me to figure out what part 3 is supposed to be about. So everything's subject to change. I would call now this coda abridged, because actually, probably if I play it again, it'll probably be about 15 minutes long. Like, I like to stretch things out a little bit more. So, but I knew we had to like be, you know, on point, on time.
It's the
So
composer,
Yeah.
it's the composer performer's prerogative to make the performance as long as you want it to be.
except when you're waiting and you don't want to be going late and running late. Although, so yeah.
But Christina,
Christina,
you
you're-
also just realized this piece with such amazing materials. First of all, beautiful voice and beautiful singing, and some amazing instruments that I wasn't always sure what the instrument was, and I know they're
Right.
with you. If you can explain some of these kind of very unique acoustic instruments, and
Right.
as well as the electronics that you're using.
Right. So I work in an in-between space between the voice, which is, you know, originally acoustic, can be processed, electroacoustic and electronic instruments, and also lots of effects and processing and looping and delays, so that you really span this gamut between the acoustic to the analog and the digital. And then I'm kind of interested in what happens if you take all those sounds and kind of fold them on themselves. And then the next step is, if you take that middle place where they're folded on themselves, kind of imagine stretching that out and then folding that on itself again, and seeing really all kinds of different sonorities that happen. I'm also, you know, very fine with the limitations of the instruments. I've got this, let's see if I can lift things up without like breaking anything here. So this, show and tell time. So this is a 12-tone array, 12-tone solid body stereo electric Imbira. It's really cool because it plays the same notes on the left and right side. So you can process the left side with one kind of sound, process that the other side with another. There's virtually no instrument that I know. I mean, you could like retune a guitar, but even so, the strings are going to be different. So then I also have a solid body or semi-solid body electric auto harp. So this only does major triads, minor triads, and dominants, but because I'm running it through processing, you get all kinds of microtonal stuff that's going on that's really kind of fun and interesting. So you don't have to like throw out the baby with the bathwater. You can still keep like traditional elements, but do interesting things with them. And then I have this cue cord that you couldn't really see because the camera wasn't big enough, and it's the digital virtual MIDI version. So this gets processed through more sounds. The sounds in it are really corny and cheesy, but I like to process them a lot, and then they sound like something totally different. And then I have an iPad, which has a strum plate on it. And then I have the Theremin that is over here, and that's processed some more. So I'm really interested in the way that different texture materials resonate in space, and then how that sound gets changed when you process it through electronics. And very much gesture is very much a part of what I do in terms of what I make. So I do this work, but I also do all kinds of other things that I'm very happy and always excited and proud about. I've done everything from big pop tours. I still do vocals for house and techno tracks. So I'm very free. I mean, if Arthur Russell could do it all, I can do it too. So
Yeah, well, I think each area enriches the other. I mean, because you can hear
absolutely,
sounds
yeah,
coming in from different vocal traditions, and
yeah.
beautiful. And what took you to Berlin?
I had lived in New York since I went to school, and it was after 9/11, and everything just got a little too hard and a little too expensive, and Berlin's a big center for electronic music, but I'm not here all the time. Like, I split my time between here and Los Angeles. So now my permanent home in Los Angeles, everybody's clear, like I'm not just here, I'm also there. So I go back and forth between the two when it's not pandemic time. And so, you know, I've been, you know, here, you know, in sheltering in place. So, and looking forward to one day, someday when I can come back. So
sometime soon, yeah.
Sometime
Yeah, I
when
hope so.
you are flying overhead in New York, you should please stop down and visit us.
Well, I do tend to break up the flight where I go to New York first. I was there in February, and then that was like my last big like touring time between gig in New York, gig in San Francisco, gig in LA, doing university guest teaching, stuff like that. So yeah. But I miss New York terribly. I miss my friends. I miss the food. I, miss the arts. I miss all of
Well,
that good stuff.
It seems like half of New York is moving to Berlin, so I think maybe you should order takeout, and it'll get over there pretty soon.
Well, I'm a pretty good cook, and they have a lot of like nicely priced organic food here. So anybody that knows me knows I cook a lot. There's always posting online of different things I'm making.
Oh,
So.
I want to see that actually.
Yeah.
We'll
Well,
check it
my family's originally from New Orleans, so we take food and cooking very seriously, and so food's a big part of my life.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What is going on in Berlin in terms of concerts? I mean, we have nothing live in the States, or if
Actually,
live,
they've been opening things up here. It's really kind of everybody to what they feel comfortable with. The spaces are doing their best in terms of observing social distancing and hygiene and stuff like that. Obviously there's no guarantees for anybody of anything anywhere, but it looks hopeful. We'll see what happens. We've got a spike going, and so I hope that going through into the fall and the winter, we'll be able to keep doing things. But I'm actually planning on starting, if I can get this all together now that I've done all my tech for today, to do a weekly Sunday evening live stream for myself. So I'm going to call it Music for Meditating, Lovemaking, and Astral Projecting.
nice.
I think we need all that.
We need it all.
Well, that's what I figured would be good for everybody on a Sunday.
And that'll be from your website, or?
ChristinaWheeler.com. I'm also on socials, the Christina Wheeler for my music page on Instagram, and Christina Wheeler Music at Facebook. You can find me all over. So I think it'll be Sundays at 7 Central European time, 1 p.m. New York City time, 10 a.m. West Coast time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Michael,
We are so happy to have been able to chat with you, Christina.
Yeah, likewise. I have come to the Bang on a Ken festivals in years past. I used to work with Mark Stewart years ago.
Oh, wow. Great.
Like a whole bunch of my friends, near and dear, are playing. I've worked with Kamei, who is playing either that time before, the one before that. Nicole Mitchell and I have a duo project together called Iridescent. And yeah, this is like family style. I get to see everybody playing today, and it's all very exciting.
I also loved when we had the little composer get together before the festival started, before the marathon started.
Right.
George Crumb was there, and then you had a nice connection with him because you had sung his music.
Yeah, that was really kind of thrilling. And it was, one of those great challenges when you're in graduate school to do some really rigorous music. I don't know if you've ever looked at the score for Night of the Four Moons. It's heavy duty. But that was really great. I had this idea in my head. I was kind of like thinking it would be amazing to do like Bang on a Can presents composers on composing. Like start a regular series where composers, kind of like, the way Interview magazine would have like two people in the same field interview each other instead of a reporter, and have two composers get together and have regular things where you just sit down and rap about like, what's your process? How do you do what you do? Because what I've loved about these online streams is so many people I'd never known before. And then what's different, say, than being at a concert is that you've been interviewing people before and afterwards. And so there'd be somebody new, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And they say a little bit like, wow, I want to know more about that person. What are they about? How are they working? Their work is so awesome. That's great. So that's a
nice idea.
My offer, my idea. Yeah.
A kind of Zoom/podcast, but with the visual elements, you can see the people and
Yeah, just rapping and talking, keep it simple and easy, and kind of demystify the whole composing process. And also for composers, talk about where it's going now, what's new, what's fresh, what are people thinking about, how is it changing, and also an opportunity to document, because I think for a lot of contemporary music, like the people, especially for people who are like underserved and underrepresented, like their stories aren't out there, and I think it would be really important for their stories to be heard, to be archived, and to be kept. So yeah.
I agree.
Okay, thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.